Tech News Weekly is sponsored by GoDaddy. Get a .com domain name for only $2.49 by using offer code QUEENS at checkout.
Starting Tech News Weekly in 3, 2, 1.
Everybody, welcome to Tech News Weekly. This is the show where we discuss all things technology, from tech news to tech news, and sometimes we talk about tech news. I don't know if you guys know about that. I'm Andrew Zarian.
Boy.
I'm joined by John Bubb, as I'm each and every week. How you doing, John?
Hey, Andrew. How's it going?
Going good. Busy time. January is always a very busy month for us. The month is over. This is the last show for January.
God.
It was a crazy
January's
month.
been miserable.
It really has.
Weather-wise, it's been miserable.
Yeah, and you were snowed in. Plus, we had so much work to get done.
Times.
Nothing was getting done.
No.
So finally, the month is over, and we're able to kind of get back to normal. Things are settling down. No craziness, and we're on a regular schedule now. So that's a good thing.
I hope so.
Before we go into the stories, I wanted to talk about something. I brought it up on What the Tech on Tuesday, but a lot of people sent me emails over the week, and they just didn't understand why I felt this way. I bought an Apple TV over the weekend, and I'm not impressed by the device.
Okay.
It's weird for me to say this because I know so many people that love the Apple TV. Rightfully so. If you're going to use AirPlay, for example, that's the only thing that could really do AirPlay. So you use it. It's good for that. But as far as consuming Netflix and all the other applications on there, I don't know why anybody would pick the Apple TV over a Roku.
Well, what's wrong with the applications on there?
I don't like the layout. They do some weird layout thing with all the applications. They kind of conform to look the same. And first of all, the control is awful. The layout I don't like. That everything is like, I can't even describe the layout. But it's not the typical Netflix layout, for example, that people are used to. With Roku, it's very easy. I actually prefer the Roku over the Apple TV, and I didn't think I would say that. And I thought you'd find this interesting because you're a cord cutter, really. You're always looking for a device, and I have to tell you, I was not impressed with Apple TV.
I think it'd be interesting to do like a nice, good comparison as far as user experience goes on them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you have iTunes, like Ron Knightson on Chatham says, he has iTunes and he buys a lot of movies on there. Absolutely, that is good for you. But if you are looking to stream content, like if you're using Roku or, if you're using Netflix or Hulu or any of the other applications that, like the network built channels.
Amazon Prime,
it's not necessary to get an Apple TV. I think a Roku is a far better option because you have so much more flexibility with the thing. You could do so much with it. And there's a ton of applications on there. I mean, we're on there. GFQ has an app on Roku. We're streaming on there right now. You can't do that on Apple TV.
they just haven't opened up development for it yet, really.
Yeah, and the rumors are,
Which is something that Apple TV has been missing.
Yeah, and that's something that they've been saying every year. Apparently, this is going to be the year that it happens. There is a big push for Apple TV coming. And they're saying that they're going to open up the platform and it's going to become that device that people wanted, that gaming console even that people wanted years ago. I mean, people have been talking about this for years.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I know. Of course, now that I bought the Apple TV, it's going to come out. The new one's about to come out.
Of course.
That's just how it always works. So, I mean, that was my little thing on the Apple TV. I'm surprised at the praise that it gets. Not that it's an awful device. Let me take that back. It's not awful. I just don't understand all the praise, and I just don't understand why. If you're not in that Apple environment, why would you get this over a Roku? Is it because you think it's a better device because it's an Apple device?
Well, I think it's one of those things where people generally don't compare them side by side. Most people don't. It's either one or the other for most people, and there's just not even that many people that are buying these devices to begin with. And it's not like the amount of people that are buying iPads, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a different market. I've done some AirPlay stuff and it works great. That's actually the only reason why I got it, so I could AirPlay some stuff that I have on my iPad to the TV. And I was able to do it with Google TV. There was an application, but for whatever reason, the latest update broke that application, so I wasn't able to do it. Of course, I mean, you update it and it totally breaks. So I ended up getting the Apple TV, but it's just sitting there. And now I've had it for 2 weeks, a week and a half. And, it's just another device I'm connecting to my TV, along with the Chromecast. So I have the Chromecast, I have the Apple TV. So in my bedroom, I mean, this is just the stuff in my bedroom. I have a Chromecast, I got an Apple TV, I have a Roku, I have the Google TV, PlayStation 3, and Nintendo Wii U. I have 6 devices that all do the same thing. Literally, I use all of them to watch Netflix. That's it.
You're an addict.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what we become, right? We consume all this stuff, and every time something new comes out, we have to buy it. We have to have it.
Well, you're that type. I'm not necessarily that type. I mean, I could be that type, but I'm not.
No, I have no self-control, obviously. If anybody watches any of my other shows that we don't talk about technology, you realize that I have zero self-control, and I do things just at the spur of the moment. But I thought the Apple news was interesting. I just wanted to talk about that for a couple seconds. There were a bunch of rumors came out, and they kind of annoyed me that there's now all these websites are picking up saying that the new MacBook Pros are going to have solar panels on them.
Wasn't Apple actually experimenting with that? I think that's what the basis of the rumor was, is that Apple did say that they were experimenting with solar-powered MacBook Pros or something.
Sure, but who's going to go outside and charge their MacBook Pro? Who's walking around with that many MacBook Pros and they're charging?
Well,
them?
I don't know. We could have an apocalypse any day now, and you might need that. I mean, what happens if our power grid gets attacked?
Yeah.
Somebody hacks it and takes it down. Nobody knows what to do because they got hacked, and it's damaged beyond anybody's control. So everybody's sitting here for a week with no power.
Well, at least you have your MacBook. You can't connect to the internet, but you have your MacBook. You have your MacBook. Just crazy stuff. But let's go into some
Everybody's
real.
going to go out and get those hand crank things for their laptops.
Sit like this. Let's go to some real news. How about that, John? Windows 8.1 Update 1 might allow you to skip the start screen by default.
That's interesting that they're going to do that by default.
Microsoft already gave Windows 8 users the option to boot their machine directly into desktop, but in the future update, it can make the classic interface standard. According to a known leaker at WZOR, I guess, the latest Windows 8.1 test build skips over Microsoft's tiled interface by default. I guess this is business friendly. This is what people have been asking for. I know you kind of like this,
Yes.
but what does this mean for the company as far as, okay, Windows 9 is coming out next year. Obviously, that's going to be more desktop-centric on the PC. They're realizing that enterprise wants to be in the desktop, but they also realize that the future of the operating system is this new UI, the Metro UI. So what do? You kind of merge the two into one, right?
Yeah, I almost kind of feel like Microsoft has been backpedaling ever since they let go of Sanofsky. I don't know if you get that impression as well, but it's just that's my impression. Is it almost feels like Microsoft is backpedaling.
Well, I think with Sanofsky, the problem was that he had one vision, and that's where they were going. And with him out of the way, all the people or the teams that actually said, like, listen, we can't force feed this down people's throats. It's a slow evolution of the future of Windows, not this, blunt. This is what it is, and this is what you're going to use. And they kind of fell flat on their face with this because a lot of people rejected it. And that's not good PR when you're Microsoft, because people by default like to label that company as the big bad company.
I think Windows 8 has two problems. One, like you said, is that it was an abrupt change. But it's not like people in the tech industry, enthusiasts like us, aren't adverse to change, abrupt change like that. It's the fact that a lot of us that are enthusiasts have desktops that we do our work on, and quite frankly, they kind of made a mess of things for desktop users. And I think that's really one of the other things that they had going wrong for them, is that there was just a bunch of people that are enterprise users like us that need the optimizations for desktop rather than touch, and it just wasn't there. It was actually made worse for us, I think, in my opinion.
I'm hopeful that Windows 9 will be a suitable replacement for all the people that are holding out with Windows 7. I'm one of those people. I'm not using Windows on a day-to-day basis. For production, obviously I am. All my production machines are Windows, but I'm using a Mac for my everyday use. I don't like what they did with Windows 8. I've been pretty vocal about that. I think with 8.1...
I'll give you a good example. Those screenshots that Paul Thurrott originally posted like a year or two ago.
Beautiful.
Where everything was all windowed. If you did, instead of the start, you would still have the start button and the start menu, only it would be the Metro interface as the start menu. You wouldn't have this entire full screen experience. I think that's one of the big things that people are not liking, is this entire full screen experience where you're in this desktop environment, but then to access certain things, you still have to slide over to this other completely different interface. So it's a lot more work to have to learn this new interface, but also still use this other interface. So you're having to use two different interfaces side by side.
But let's forget about us for a second, right? Because you said the consumer will adapt. Enterprise, not so easy for them to adapt to major changes. This is pretty much the main reason why they're doing this. It's not the consumer, it's the enterprise user that's rejecting.
Oh, absolutely.
This UI.
But then again, this is the funny thing, is because enterprise is always slow to change to begin with. So I think in a way they don't necessarily have to do these things, but I think they would have had time to do these things, these changes, before the time that enterprise said, okay, well, we'll start looking into actually using Windows 8 or Windows 9.
I mean, do you think it's a necessity for them to add this feature now compared to adding it in Windows 9?
Yeah, because I think it's just going to make it that much easier for people to start looking at Windows 8. Because Windows 8, I think, does have a perception problem. I do think that it is a little bit of a Windows Vista sour egg.
And even if it's not,
people do have that perception.
Even if it's not that, I don't think the operating system is not a bad operating system. I think it's just a matter of taste and a matter of getting used to. I think a lot of people were turned off from the beginning. They've fixed a lot of these weird problems, like people complain that you couldn't shut down properly. It was a little convoluted to shut down. They fixed that, but people still have that perception of what it is.
I still find navigating Windows 8 to be weird.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's just me but it's just the way they laid things out, the names. It just does not work for me. Calling it a Charms Bar, it just feels so dopey to me.
Yeah,
Charms Bar. That is the best thing you can call it. Really? You couldn't come up with something better than Charms Bar.
Well, I like the name.
Ugh.
Why don't you go into a story, John?
Oh, I get to pick one.
Mm-hmm. That's how we do it here. One for me, one for you.
Let's talk about Amazon and their earnings call. Their CFO, Tom, I don't really understand how to pronounce his last name. So Tom, their CFO, said during an earnings call that growing transportation costs may cause the online retail giant to add between $20 and $40 to the subscription fee for Prime, which is currently $79.
So they're going to go up to about $120.
That's what it sounds like. They're considering it. They don't have any plans right now to roll this out, but they are saying that due to the cost of fuel and shipping just being inherently more expensive today, that they are thinking of making an increase to the subscription fee.
They already have a higher package, right? Like if you want to do standard next day delivery, I think it's like $120.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's not bad, actually. That actually makes a lot of sense if you're doing a lot of Amazon shopping. I like to do next day delivery all the time when I'm doing Amazon stuff. And for me, it's worth it to have the higher package. But a lot of people use Prime and they absolutely love it. I still think it's worth it if you buy a lot of stuff on Amazon.
At $79, I think it's worth it.
I think for $100, it's worth it too.
I'm not so sure about that.
You don't
I
think so?
think $100 would be my cutoff point.
But see, if you're ordering from Amazon, let's say 10 times a year, you do get free shipping, right? You do get free shipping with Amazon. So if you don't care, listen, if you don't care to have the merchandise within 2 days, you're fine. It doesn't matter to you.
Yeah.
I mean, it really doesn't, but I think they need to give something a little bit more if that's what they're going to go to. Maybe by default, they could set to next day delivery.
I think that's also my opinion too, is that if they are going to increase the price by that much, I mean, $40, that's a 50% increase. I think there needs to be a little bit more value there for the customer. Yes, you do have Amazon Prime Instant Video and all that stuff, but they just don't quite have that great of a selection. And their interface to navigate all this content just really isn't that good. I mean, it's so difficult to figure out what is and is not available as instant streaming.
Yeah, and and that's been one of the things that I've kind of stayed away from Amazon, is because it's a little weird on what's instant stream and what's not. But I've been buying stuff. Like, I'm a big fan of Archer. I just discovered them. It's crazy. I knew about the show, but I just started watching it about a month ago. I've gone through every season, so now I'm at season 4. It's not available on Netflix. I just bought the entire season on Amazon, and it was simple to do that. It was so easy to do that. So I just bought the season. That was it. So I'm using Amazon more, obviously, but I do think that they're not there yet. I mean, they're still building that platform.
I think it would be worth it at $120 if they offer their entire library as free streaming. I mean, obviously, you could still buy it and download it, but you would have free instant streaming.
Yeah. Did you read the story where they're talking about coming up with a console? They want to get in the console market.
That's something that's been rumored for the past entire year, if not longer.
I mean, they're looking to get into the console market where they would pretty much compete with every other console on the market. It's going to be sub $300, and it's going to run obviously on Android. It's going to have all these Android applications. I think it's a good idea for them to do this.
It depends how well they execute it. Is it just going to be this another device that's like the Kindle Fire, where they have this tablet that is really meant for consumption, but it's really not that great a bit of hardware. I mean, it's nice, it's decent, it'll get you to the content you want, but there's nothing spectacular about it. It's not like an iPad.
No, I don't think it is. I think
that's the thing is that I think if they're going to come out with a console, it needs to be spectacular. It needs to be something revolutionary or something very different than everybody else, not just another version of a Kindle Fire or some other way to access Amazon.
Yeah. See, this is interesting. It's like I honestly at times believe that we are a culture where we purchase everything through Amazon. I mean, really, I buy every week. I'm ordering something on Amazon. Everything that I buy, from bathroom tissue to phone cases to mugs to wine, even. I order wine on Amazon at this point.
You have a problem.
Everything I buy is on Amazon. And, we have an Amazon affiliate link. We are a part of the Amazon affiliate program. If you want to help us out, you could go to gfq.co/Amazon. Suncast could post it in the chat room. You could just click on that. If you're going to buy something within the next couple of days, we get a tiny little credit. And actually, that's the most amazing thing, that it builds up, and, every month it's a significant amount, and it goes to upgrades in the studio. Like, we're going to be upgrading a camera within the next probably couple of weeks. It's going to be a big help, and it's all, stuff that it's pretty much donations from Amazon. Without people donating, they're buying stuff. But I get a list at the end of the month of like all the stuff that was bought. I can't see who bought it, obviously, but it's an itemized list. And sometimes I go through it, sometimes I don't. And I was just clicking through some of the stuff during the holiday season, because I thought, okay, it's going to be big ticket items, right? People are going to be buying laptops, because that's the time that we really make some money on there. We're going to get laptops, we're going to get tablets, we're going to get phones, big ticket items. it wasn't that. I mean, the big ticket items were just a tiny little percentage of all the sales of items on Amazon. Everything from nail clippers to thermoses to T-shirts. People are buying everything. Candy. People bought candy, like a lot of candy. It just tells you that this company. But why not? Why would you go to the store to buy it? Why? I mean, why not? You're sitting at work. Okay, you're online. You can have next day delivery. It's at your house by the next day. It's unbelievable.
Some people want it same day.
Some people want it same day. We get Sunday delivery here in New York now.
That's crazy.
We have Saturday and Sunday delivery, so every day.
Oh, so
there's an
that's
item.
why they need to have a higher fee for shipping, is because they deliver on Sundays now. I see.
Yeah, that's why.
That's how they're gonna do Sunday shipping.
But if you look at it, it wasn't like this a couple of years ago. They've grown, I think, within the last couple of years, maybe the last year or two, they've grown from 1 million Prime eligible items to 19 million. They have 19
I think
million
a lot of
items
people
in
are
stock.
very much interested in the way that Amazon works with Prime 2-day shipping. People love the heck out of that.
And I'll tell you, whenever I buy something, the first thing I click on Amazon is that Prime eligible.
Absolutely.
And then I go through it. And that's the only things that I buy. If you're not Prime
you
eligible,
are at
I'm
a
not buying.
disadvantage if you're not Prime eligible.
Yeah,
big time.
But do you think it's like that with every item? Like when people buy TVs, because generally, like those big, like if you buy a TV on Amazon, there's a good chance it's not coming from UPS. It's going to come with like a special carrier.
I don't know.
Because I wonder if that makes a difference. If large items like that, like my wife ordered a TV, she wanted to actually get on Amazon. We were going to get another TV, and it wasn't eligible for 2-day delivery or whatever it was. It was a standard 5 days.
But I still think that there are people that do like to go out to stores to view their TV before they buy it, just to check it out, And if they have it there in the store, you're just going to buy it.
Yeah, I wonder if
TVs are one of those things that you're more likely to go out and actually see in person before you buy it.
there was a story I was reading a while ago, and they were saying, well, that's killing these big box retailers, right? Like a Best Buy, for example, or whoever it is, and it's killing them. People go in, they see the price there, and then you see the Amazon price. They don't know that. Obviously, they match, right? Like if it's cheaper on Amazon, you could tell them, you could show it to them, and you'll get it for that price. But most people don't think that way. They just go home and they order it. There was an idea people were saying, like, what if Best Buy had an Amazon account, like an Amazon reselling account, where they sold their stuff on Amazon for competitor prices, and they would actually save money that way. I thought it was a little weird that they would do that, or Amazon would even allow it. But it was an idea. Like, how do you compete with this?
Well, Amazon or Best Buy is kind of smart in the sense that if you buy stuff from them online, from their online store, you can return it in store. So if you do have a return, you don't have to bother with shipping it back. I think that's a very cool feature for them to have. Whereas if it's Amazon, all right, I got to do a return. Okay, I gotta do the RMA. I gotta print the shipping label. I gotta get it out to UPS. And then I got to wait for them to get it. Then I got to wait for my refund. And, oh, wait, there might be a restocking fee.
A lot going on. That's a lot going on. Interesting stuff happening. I'm interested to see what Amazon does, because the rumors for the phone are happening. The rumors for a console are happening. If a company could pull it off to be competitive in this market, obviously it's them. And I'm hopeful to see what it does. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it won't. Who knows? Wall Street Journal, by the way, is reporting that Apple is considering 2 iPhone large screens. So they're going to have 2 versions.
That was very confusing. The way
Apple's
you said
considering 2 iPhones with larger screens. I said large screens. Larger screens. So they're going from anywhere from a 4.5-inch screen, which is a 1/2 inch larger than it is now, to a 5-inch screen. I don't know if they're going to go larger than that. I think if they go with a 5-inch screen, it's going to be perfect for most people. But they're going to have to make that phone fatter, right?
Do they have to?
What are they? They're just going to keep going up?
What do you mean fatter? Like wider or
Yeah, wider.
Well, yeah, of course.
They're gonna have to go wider with the phone.
This whole stupid thing when the iPhone 5 came out with, oh, you can use one thumb to do the whole screen.
Yeah, that was a big
Side to
selling point.
side. Oh boy. You know what? People don't give a crap about that. They just want a large screen. And Apple did a complete cheat on that. Oh, we made it bigger. It's only bigger in height.
A half an
So
inch.
that you can still use your thumb to go back and forth from either side of the screen. That's just ridiculous.
But you do think it's time that they put out a large display phone, right? Like I got this phone, and
yeah,
I didn't want to get
Go
this
ahead.
one because it's 5.5 inches. This phone.
yeah.
I honestly thought that was way too big. I mean, that's way too big of a display. My old phone was 4.75, whatever it is, and that was just good enough. And then I got this, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, this is actually a perfect size. It's 5.5 inches. I don't notice that it's way too big. It's actually quite comfortable to use. The display is stunning. And when I go to use my other phone, it's way too small now. Like I can't. It's way
First
too
world
small.
problems.
Yeah. Yeah. I need a phone larger than 5 inches. Where do you think Apple's sweet spot would be with the phone size? You think it'd be 5 inch or
4.7?
maybe? Maybe.
No, this is great. I waited until the iPhone 5 came out with a somewhat larger screen before I got an iPhone, simply because I thought 3.5 inches was just absolutely way too small, and it is. 3.5 inches is ridiculous. We've gone in the complete opposite direction now from the as small as you can make them type of phones to where, all right, because we have so much content that we consume on the go now. Most people are just perfectly fine consuming content on their phone, web browsing, videos, etc., Facebook, that in a way we now want a decent sized screen. We don't sit at computers anymore. Or we might have a laptop that's 14-inch screen, but we still only use that if we're doing college work or something like that. So the most of the time people are just using their phone, and we need a decent sized screen. I love the fact that there's going to possibly be two sizes. I don't know that they need to, but the fact that they're finally going to go and do a 4.5-inch or 5-inch phone, I think is awesome.
To kind of stick with the phone topic, yesterday rumors came out, and it ended up being true because it was confirmed by Google that Lenovo is buying Motorola Mobility, the handset business, from Google for nearly $3 billion. Google bought Motorola Mobility for about $9 billion?
12
billion.
12 billion.
And now they're offloading the maker, the handset maker, for $3 billion, but they're keeping all the patents. So that's pretty much what they wanted. They're keeping all the important stuff. They're getting rid of the hardware business. How do you feel about Lenovo purchasing Motorola? Now, Lenovo makes some great stuff. They also make some not so great stuff.
I'm completely indifferent about it. There's a lot of people that are upset over this. The fact, oh no, they're selling Motorola to a Chinese maker.
Well, I mean,
we're going to lose all those manufacturing jobs because they're going to move everything to China.
You think that's going to happen?
I have no freaking clue. In a way, I know this is bad to say, but I kind of don't care.
Yeah, because
really,
Motorola is an American company.
It's a free market. They can sell it. I mean, yeah, it's just, what are you going to do with it? Motorola, honestly, their handset business is dead. Yes, they have the Motorola G and Motorola X, but I don't know. I just don't see Motorola being a major player anymore.
I mean, Motorola, they've been hemorrhaging money for years. They've been losing about they lost about $5 billion from 2007 to 2009. The company totally was suffering.
Here's what you do. Yeah, well, look at how much Google sold it for. They bought it for $12 million. They sold it for a fourth. I think that's correct. A fourth of what they originally bought it for.
Yeah, but they're not selling the patents. Now that's the whole thing. Motorola has years and years of patents. I mean,
so you're saying that's worth $9 billion are just their patents alone?
I mean, this is a company that originated in the early 30s, right? Late 20s, early 30s.
Oh yeah.
They have been a public company in television, in radio. This is a company that has a lot of patents.
Consumer wise, they're just not a major player anymore.
No, consumer wise, and
I
it's
think
sad,
I think
right?
that would be great if Lenovo can take this company, the handset business, and make it a big consumer company, a successful company for consumers again. I think that's wonderful. Why not?
When Lenovo
Nobody
bought,
wants to see Motorola go down the drain. Nobody.
When Lenovo bought the ThinkPad division from IBM, how are people reacting to that? I feel like they didn't bring up the whole, well, it's a Chinese company taking over. You know, like that didn't happen.
I don't know. I think there was some backlash about that because people were they liked their IBM ThinkPads and they didn't want anything to change.
I still have mine. We have two ThinkPads. I think the last one's from like 2011. One of the best laptops I've ever had. The build quality on those things are phenomenal. They're still great. The ThinkPad line is still a phenomenal line.
I guess the way I look at this is that Google really wasn't doing anything with it, right?
No, I mean, the first major thing that they kind of worked on, right, they collaborated was at Moto X. And
so
it's okay.
I'm not heartbroken or anything about them selling it off because Google really wasn't doing anything with it.
I'm looking at the ThinkPad line.
Google got what they wanted out of it, and it's time to move on.
Yeah, they got the patents now. Now they're offloading. I mean, that's just how it works. But what does this mean for the company?
It's disappointing. It's disappointing that Google did not do more with Motorola.
You know what I thought? I honestly thought they would do. I said, well, this is going to be their Nexus line, right? They've always had a good relationship with Motorola with the Droids, where they gave a pure Android experience.
Right.
This was going to be their Nexus line. So the Google phone that's put out every year or twice a year, whatever they're going to do, would have been a Motorola phone where they showcase this is what the experience is going to be like. And they could control it like Apple does. Apple is successful, yeah, partially because of their OS and yeah, partially because of their hardware, but it's the combination of the two that makes it a major success. It works really well because they control both the hardware and the software. I thought that would be Google's way in. They didn't do it for who knows what reason. I mean, maybe they... I don't know why. I don't think anybody knows why they didn't do it. But now they're offloading, and this is Lenovo's way in the phone market because I know they have been trying desperately to get into the phone market. I'm at Lenovo's website now.
I absolutely hope that Lenovo is successful with Motorola's handset business. I really do. Because Motorola is one of those companies that has been around so long, nobody wants to see them just completely vanish. That's the way I look at this anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be sad to lose manufacturing jobs to China, but I don't know. It's just one of those things where Motorola, it's a legacy. It's got to go on.
I'm looking at Lenovo's website, and this is one of the most confusing websites I've ever seen. I'm on their ThinkPad line. They have literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different ThinkPads.
Throw everything out there and see what sticks.
Yeah, 8 different ThinkPads. Then they have, let's go to the IdeaPad. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 6 IdeaPads. And then they have the Essential. 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 4, 5 on that line. They have like 30 laptops on the market. It's crazy. It's really insane. I don't know. I'm hoping to see what they do with Motorola. This may be something that Motorola needs.
Yeah,
this is something that's going to keep them. Yeah. Yeah.
I look at this with an optimistic eye and hoping that Motorola can become a big player again.
Hopefully. Hopefully. Pick a story, John.
Well, let's talk about this other big story that came out. I believe it was yesterday that I forget who was reporting this. Bloomberg News is reporting that Microsoft will reportedly name enterprise chief Satya Nadella as its new CEO. I don't know if you read this article yet or not, But if it's true, the report would end speculation that Microsoft was leaning towards a CEO with more consumer-facing experience, such as Stephen Elop or Ford CEO Alan Mulally.
But instead,
This
they've
is a
gone
very
with
interesting
enterprise.
turn.
They've gone on the enterprise side, and
This isn't confirmed, by the way, just so that everybody knows. This is yet to be confirmed.
yeah, it's yet to be confirmed. These are just rumors and speculation. But if this is the case, this also shows tremendous insight of where the company is and what's happening on the enterprise side. A lot of reports are coming out that Windows 9 obviously is going to be kind of targeting enterprise and telling them to come back, and it's safe to upgrade. You're going to have a lot of control, and it's going to be the way you wanted. 8.1 update 1 is going to possibly allow you to boot directly and bypass the start screen. And now, potentially, they may have the guy that's in charge of enterprise as the CEO of the company. They may be in panic mode. They may be a little scared to see what's happening in the future for enterprise for them.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy that knows that side of the business. There's also reports coming out. Bloomberg reported that there's talk to possibly replace Bill Gates as the chairman.
That's an interesting move, isn't it?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder why they're thinking these things.
I would imagine that enterprise is their bread and butter. They do well in consumer, but it's enterprise that is buying these bulk loads of hardware and software and using their cloud services. So they make their money from enterprise and they make their money from services. And to lose market share in that somehow, it's not a positive for them. To get that Vista bubble did not really affect enterprise because enterprise was not adapting to that.
Right.
So they skipped over that. That was just a consumer thing. I mean, working in IT, everybody was on XP. Everybody was on XP. Nobody even thought about going to Vista, not because of all the negativity. That's just how enterprise works. They are slow to adapt. And it's
Windows
8
Vista
is a
was
disaster.
not ready for enterprise when it first came out.
No.
Plain and simple. That's the way it was.
Yeah. By the way, they don't second the source. They don't even second source. So it says according to a person familiar with the matter. So it could just be total nonsense. But I mean, this is a guy that's totally capable of the position. He's a Microsoft guy. He knows how it works. It's not an outsider coming in. I never thought that the Ford CEO would have been a suitable replacement.
I always thought that was going to be a very strange choice.
Yeah.
I never could relate why they would go with Ford's CEO.
I think the reason why people thought that is because he's a fascinating CEO. He's not very traditional in the sense where with his thought process. He saved Ford, and they have a close tie with Microsoft. You know what? Someone in chat said it perfectly. I won't believe it until I hear Mary Jo Foley report, and you're absolutely right. I'm the same way with this stuff. I wait to see her report it first, but it's
considering that there's just the information is kind of loose.
Yeah. By the way, the guy is 46. He's a 22-year veteran of Microsoft. He's currently heads the Cloud and Enterprise Group, which provides servers.
I don't
cloud
think he would be a
platforms.
bad choice at all.
He wouldn't be a bad
choice. I really don't. I would argue that Microsoft has done better with its enterprise stuff in the last 2 years than it has with its consumer stuff.
And his division does phenomenal. His division pulled in about $20 billion in revenue last year and $8.2 billion in operating income. So
that's nothing to sneeze at.
And for people that are familiar with the enterprise side, he was a major player in Azure. So he's a guy familiar with what's going on there. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, we'll find out some more information on Monday, and I'll be able to talk about it with Paul on Tuesday. See what's going on.
That'd be great.
Maybe we'll get breaking news. Maybe we'll get MJ on if it happens. Breaking news.
That'd be a very interesting show.
Well, yeah, it's a show whenever we go out. I end up getting drunk and she starts yelling at me. And then I almost convinced her to buy a Mac. I just want to put that out there. Mary Jo Foley
God, can we please do that as a reality show, a GFQ reality show?
just
That would be freaking amazing.
I nearly convinced her to go buy a MacBook Pro. And you know what?
GFQ behind the scenes.
Hey,
The
you know what?
crazy life of Andrew Zarian.
I convinced Microsoft journalists to buy Macs. That's what I do. She was like, you know what, Andrew? I think it's a good idea. I'm going to buy a Mac. And then I don't know what happened. And I asked her on Twitter. I spoke about it, and people said, no, that's impossible. They tweeted. She goes, yeah, Andrew almost convinced me to go buy a Mac. So I almost got her. U.S. retailer Tiger Direct is now accepting Bitcoin payments. How do you feel about Bitcoin?
I'm uneasy about it. I think it's cool to see all these companies adopting it and giving it some legitimacy. But at the same time, I think Bitcoin is such a unstable market. It's such an unstable everything.
Companies are
I just
accepting
don't
it.
trust it enough.
And let me just say this. Companies are not accepting Bitcoin because they're for the movement. They like the movement. They're accepting it because they get a headline, like Tiger Direct now accepting Bitcoin payments. That's a cool headline for people to see, and that's why
But
they're
the
all
security
accepting
of it is still just it's so weak. I mean, yes, it's a cryptocurrency, but it's a very large target, and it's very easy for any one of these companies that's trading Bitcoin to go under, get hacked, or anything. There's been a number of hacks recently where Bitcoins have just completely gone missing.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do when all your money is hacked?
Who do you call?
It's still not really considered a legitimate currency. So, what do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, that's my only problem. It's cool. It's worth a lot of dang money, but
No, it's scary.
I just don't trust the infrastructure enough to keep it safe.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Hey, John, you want to do our picks?
If you want to, yeah.
Let's do our picks.
Okay. You can go first.
Let me find a little bit there. There we go. So this is part of the show where we talk about products, websites, anything that we like, pretty much. I have been doing some crappy picks lately. I'm going to admit it. But I did find something that I know a lot of people are going to like. As you know, I have an LG G2 from Verizon, and I've been looking for a case for this thing. And I tried about 3 or 4 of them, and they were way too bulky. They just didn't feel right. I don't like the OtterBox stuff. I don't like a bulky case. I just want something that's going to prevent the back from getting scratched. If I drop it, it'll take a little bit of the pressure, and that's it. I don't want a crazy bulky one. And I found one on Amazon that I really liked. And for people who actually have this phone, you may actually like it too. It is called the Diztronic Matte Black Flexible TPU case for the LG G2. I have it here on Amazon right here. It's $10, $9.90 right now, and it's probably the best case that I've seen for this so far. That it's cheap, it's good.
Does it have a lip that goes around it?
It does have a lip that goes around it
to protect the screen.
Yeah. So I don't know if you could see it here, but on the screen,
Oh yeah.
like there's the lip kind of goes there, so it's not, the screen isn't touching. It's just the rubber that's touching.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think that's important for any case. If you're getting a case, definitely look for a lip that goes all the way around.
Yeah, and
it.
the quality's really good. The build quality's good. It's inexpensive. I mean, it's $10, but it's a really well built case. And you can get it on Amazon, $10. So that's my pick of the week.
Sweet.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are into this stuff. I was going on the forum for the LG G2, and I saw a lot of people talking about what case to buy, and somebody recommended this one, and I tried it out, and it's really good. So, good case. That's my pick of the week. John, what's yours?
My pick is a software to install other software onto USB sticks.
Okay.
It's called Universal USB Installer. It's just pretty cool software. I don't know if you can bring it up and show some of the screenshots here. I don't have a drive in my computer, so I need to make USB bootable drives for anything that I need to use, like Windows installation disk or installing Ubuntu on machines. So it's just easier for me to create USB installation sticks using this software, Universal USB Installer. It's so easy to use. All you do is you download this piece of software. You don't even have to install it. You just run it. Download whatever ISO that you want to install, whether it be Windows, Ubuntu, Linux Mint, etc. They have several different presets for you to use. So you can see in the screenshot it's set up for Ubuntu, which is one of the popular ones. It also does Windows 7, Windows 8. I think it also does XP and all that stuff. You select your USB stick. You can format it if need be, and you click create, and it does it for you. It's so easy. It works great. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about this. Very cool, very easy to use. So if you're looking to create a bootable USB stick with like Windows 7 or Ubuntu on there, this is a very easy piece of software to use to do that. It's called Universal USB Installer, and you can get it at pendrivelinux.com.
Yeah, you actually asked me if I had a suggestion yesterday, and I said no, I don't. So I'm glad you found something.
I just used this last night to do stuff.
What did you do with it?
I did two things. I made a Windows 7 install USB and a Ubuntu install USB. So now if I ever need those things, I've got it made, ready to go.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, guys, if you are a fan of the GFQ Network, if you're a fan of the show, you can subscribe to us. We're on iTunes. We're everywhere podcasts are available. Subscribing to the show helps us out. Obviously, we could show our numbers to potential advertisers and say, look, everybody's subscribing. Give us money. And you could also help us out. And you could help us out by using our Amazon affiliate link whenever purchasing something on Amazon. Like this case, for example. If you want to buy the case, you could use our link. It'll be in the show notes.
Did GFQ buy that for you?
Did
GFQ buy that for you?
No. I bought it for myself. I only use the GFQ stuff for the studio. You could do so by going to gfq.co/Amazon. That's gfq.co/Amazon. Or if you're watching on our website right now, you could just click on the side banner with the Amazon logo, and it'll take you right there. Whenever you buy something, we get a tiny little credit, and it helps us out. It's actually unbelievable how many people are doing that. And that's it, guys. Actually, you can follow me on Twitter, @AndrewZarian. You can follow John @Suncast. And, of course, the GFQ Network's on Twitter, too, @GFQ Network. And that's it, guys. We'll see you all next week on Tech News Weekly. Good night, everybody.